Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Startup Sense podcast. This is your host, Jonah Lupton. I hope your day is as beautiful as it is here in Massachusetts. We finally got some sunshine. It's 86 degrees. I just got back from the beach. So, ready to do a great podcast once again. We have an awesome guest on the phone. We've been trying to connect for a while now, so I'm glad we finally got him. This is Amari Ruff. He is the co founder of a company called Sudu. Company is based out of the Atlanta, Georgia area. They've raised $1.1 million from both an angel and a VC. Company's 11 people strong. They are essentially a logistics company. We'll talk more about that in a second. A few of their big customers thus far are Walmart, Shaw Floors, and CHEP. I hadn't heard of CHEP before, but I believe it's a big pallet manufacturer. They actually went through the ATDC Accelerator at Georgia Tech. The company seems to be doing pretty well. So let's talk to Amari and see what's going on. Amari, how are you, man?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me. Glad we're able to finally connect.
For sure, for sure. Now, you guys actually changed the name of the company, right, from R2 Trucking to what it is now, Sudu?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay,
Correct. We
cool.
felt, yeah, we felt that Sudo had a way cooler spin and it spoke more to what we're doing from a technology standpoint.
Okay, awesome. So talk to us about the technology then. What exactly do you guys do?
Yeah, so our main goal is to harness small minority truckers and give them more efficient tools and eliminate empty miles, which in turn puts more money in their pocket. And then on our customer side, it helps reduce the carbon footprint. And as we gain more data from our customers, we're able to drive down that price as well by coupling their freight in with backhauls from some of our other customers. So everyone kind of comes out on a win-win.
So give us an example of so some of your clients, Walmart, Shaw Floors, CHEP. I mean, feel free to mention some other ones. How are they using you guys to run their operations better?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're licensed and bonded as a freight brokerage company, but
Okay.
we consider ourselves a technology company in the logistics industry. So on our back, it sort of operates something like an Uber, where we utilize big data and predictive analytics, and as well as machine learning to effectively route our truckers. So customers send us freight, it'll hit our system. Our fulcrum system will automatically match the most qualified trucker. That's based off of compliance score, location, mode of transportation, hours of service. All those things are kind of taken into effect, and vacations schedules for those truckers, understanding what lanes they like to run, where in the country they like to be, and then it'll make that match and match that piece of freight with that trucker.
Are there other companies out there doing this, or are you guys solving a need in the market that has been there for a while?
Yeah, I believe there's other companies out there that are considering themselves the Uber for trucking, but with us, we've got a strong diversity spin to it as well, where we're a minority-owned business, and the network, majority of our network, I'd say about a little over 90% is compiled of minority, women, and veteran-owned truckers, and that's been our primary focus. Now, we work with any trucker outside of that denomination, but that's been our primary focus, and that's where we differentiate. And then from a technology standpoint, as of what we know, no one out there is utilizing machine learning the way we're doing it in the industry.
So where did all this come from? What were you doing prior to starting this company?
Well, I come out of the telecommunications industry. I was a founder of a company by the name of Global Optic Telco. We did residential and commercial installation services for cable providers like your Comcast, Cox, Charter, Time Warner, companies like that. Started that company with one truck, a few $100, and I grew it to over 200 trucks in 5 different offices across the country and had an exit there. So I was kind of looking for the next thing, and I seen that logistics was a pretty hot industry, really big market. So jumped into that. What I seen was that well, my initial goal was to purchase assets because think I owned all those trucks coming out of telecommunications. So I was like, hey, I'll just buy a few hundred tractor trailers, then I can make a ton more money. But once I learned about the compliance, safety regulations, things of that nature, I took a pivot to more of a freight brokerage company. And it also played a lot more into my strengths, which are building relationships and acquiring contracts. and I got connected with a minority organization, which I guess they tailor more to minority truckers. So I got with them and I was an ambassador and started to assist them in different things. And that's where I learned that true struggle of the minority women and veteran-owned truckers, which was access to those large contract opportunities. And that's kind of where I was like, if we could, group these guys, get them to work together under one umbrella, because 97% of all truckers in the industry have 10 or less trucks. To even start those contract conversations with these large corporations, they need to have at least 1 to 200 trucks. So
Right.
by
Okay.
coupling it, yeah, leveraging the size, we had something there.
Okay. So in a little way, I don't know if there's even a fair comparison. I was gonna say you're kind of unionizing the minority truckers or the smaller fleets, giving them more leverage to work together and compete with the big boys. I mean, is that accurate?
Yeah, that's a good perception, and just coupling them with technology tools that could really help them run more efficient and even gain leverage over those larger trucking companies.
So let's back up to what you said a few minutes ago. You talked about an exit from a prior business. I've had obviously a handful of guests on the show that have had exits, and I love talking about that stuff because it's every entrepreneur's dream, or in most cases, it's a dream. How did that come about? I mean, when you started that business, were you hoping to have an exit, or did you get approached by someone and couldn't turn down the offer? Maybe take us back to that time.
Yeah, that's a great question. So when I first started the business, it was more of just a lifestyle kind of thing. I was a technician for another company and kind of got fed up with the way they were running the business and was like, hey, I could definitely do this on my own. So my goal was just to start a really cool telecommunications company that had better culture and paid their technicians a lot better. But as we grew and scaled so fast, we came to a point where we got approached by a potential competitor, and it was it was a really good merger deal that I couldn't pass up. So that's kind of how that happened. So it was really exciting. It wasn't the perfect ideal exit where you kind of sail off into the sunset, but it was one of those that gave me a lot of great learning experience, and it prepped me for Sudu and the road we're going down right now.
So was it a seven, eight, or I'm assuming it wasn't a nine-figure exit because those are the right off into the sunset ones. So was it at least a seven-figure exit?
No, it wasn't even a seven-figure exit. Trust me, if I could do it all over again, I wouldn't even exit it. So let's just
Really?
put it that way.
Okay. Well, it was a good learning experience, right? I mean, have you been
Absolutely.
able to apply any of those lessons to this new business?
Oh yeah, so many. I believe with that last company, I didn't know what I didn't know. If
Right,
you
right.
get that. But going into this venture, I knew that okay, I need to get people that are strong here, here, and here, and I did that, and that's why we've been successful thus far. So those are one of the major learning things for me.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I tell people, I mean, if you want to try to learn how to be an entrepreneur before you even become an entrepreneur, it's never going to work. I mean, because you just can't know what you don't know, and you can't
Mhm.
learn what you don't, what you may need to know in the future. I mean, it's just so
Absolutely.
hard to predict what path you're going to end up going down as an entrepreneur. So, you just got to get out there and start doing it and be willing to make some mistakes. But
Right.
okay, so talk to us about this new business. I mean, Walmart, obviously one of the five largest companies probably in the world by revenue. How did you guys land a client like that?
Wow, it was we prayed to the lucky stars, but no, we got the right people under the Walmart umbrella that believed in who we were as a company and really believed in our initiative, and they really drove who we were as a company to the true decision makers. So I feel, when dealing with major corporations like your Walmarts or your Targets or your Krogers, all those Fortune 1000s, you've got to have someone really waving your flag and that really believes in you as a company and that could really speak highly of you to those decision makers. So that was what was really the game changer for us, because otherwise without that gentleman we would have never gotten that door. But he knew that we had something special and that the people on the team really had a commitment to quality, and customer service and efficiency, and what we were doing from a technology standpoint was a major differentiator. And not only could we be a good business partner with Walmart, but be an actual value add outside of their other providers. And I think that's what it came down to.
Now, does working with Walmart open up other doors because that just gives you a lot of extra credibility?
Yeah, absolutely. They say the rumor in the industry is that they're the hardest to work with in transportation, and they've actually been really great. They've taught us so much around compliance and just holding the standards really high, and that's how we like to look at ourselves here at Sudu is that we hold our standards high. So Walmart may operate this way, and some of our smaller customers may not operate as toughly, but we still hold those standards with our other customers as well, and it kind of sets the tone for who we are as a company, which is great. So I've been definitely lucky to have them as a business partner so early on, and they've really helped set the tone for the way we do business.
Now, what's the ATDC Accelerator like? I think I've heard the name before, but I don't know much about them. So maybe you can give us a little overview.
Oh man, it's an amazing space and incubator here. They have three different levels where anyone can sign on and be a member and come in through the customer discovery stage. Think of it more like a Shark Tank where you come in with your idea and they just, throw darts at you and just shoot holes through your entire company. And you come in at that stage, and once you can home in on your MVP, they graduate you to an accelerate level where if space is available, they offer you a two-person space, and that helps, and then that gives you access to different classes, whether that's financial literacy, telling your story, or give you assistance on how to build out your pitch deck, and they put you in front of investors and how to prep and prepare for investors, and it's just an amazing program. But once you gain substantial traction or raise venture funds, then they move you up to what's called a signature level. So that's where we're at now, and that's the highest level you could be at. And then they give you access to a larger office space, and it's subsidized rent. It's right here in the heart of Technology Square, coupled in with Georgia Tech. So we get access to graduates from Tech or to the different departments here at Tech that really like to work with startups, and it's just an amazing program. Jen Bonnet she serves as a general manager here, and she's doing a phenomenal job.
So, in terms of hiring, are you guys doing a lot of your hiring out of Georgia Tech, or from what other areas in the Georgia startup community are you finding talent?
Yeah, number one, what we knew from an operational standpoint, we wanted to get more seasoned logistics individuals in on board. So of course we looked at individuals that had maybe 7+ years of experience. So that was number one. When it's from a technology standpoint, of course, Georgia Tech's going to be number one of what we're looking to for talent because of course the likes of Uber and Google and Apple are right here recruiting as well, but not everybody wants to move out to San Francisco. And
Right. Oh, of course.
yeah, and then some people really want to work with startups, so that really gives us an advantage where we can get a kick butt, a computer science major who was recruited by Apple but just wants to stay home, So it gives us, great leverage being a startup right here at Tech. It's amazing.
I mean, you're probably paying 50% less than an engineer would get in Silicon Valley with one of those big companies, but it's also 2 to 3 times more expensive to live out there.
Absolutely, that's a good point. And then, of course, early stage startup, we also offer some equity too, so that's always appetizing as well.
People, they seem to forget it's not how much you make, it's how much you keep. I mean, that's,
Very
after you pay all your bills and your rent and everything else, how much is actually staying in your bank, your bank account at the end of the month. And out in the valley, San Fran, it's not much. You're
much.
salary rich, but house poor, however the saying goes. And I experienced that in Boston. I was paying 3 grand a month for rent, in downtown Boston. And once I became an entrepreneur, in the beginning, it just wasn't realistic to keep living that way. So, um, what else? What are some of the lessons that you've learned over the last couple of years? Because you started this company back in 2004, right?
2014.
I mean 2014, right? Got the four right. So okay, so you guys have been working on this for 2 to 3 years.
Mhm.
Other than the name change, have you guys made any drastic pivots or any big mistakes, any failures, any big wins? Talk to us about that stuff.
Yeah, I really wouldn't say, we had any failures. I mean, I came into, this this company with a lot of lessons learned from my previous company. So I knew exactly what I needed to do. I would say no big failures thus far. I knock on wood there, but some of our major wins has been some of the individuals we've been able to recruit on the team. Um, we got a gentleman by the name of Michelangelo Ho, who serves as our COO, and his previous job, he's a serial entrepreneur, has had two successful startups, raised a ton of money here in Atlanta, has a really strong name from a technology standpoint, but he was also head of the fintech vertical at ATDC. But we had a previous relationship. Our kids went to school together, so we had always knew each other. But he was the reason why I got connected with ATDC, and then I recruited the crap out of him and convinced him to join Sudu. And that was a huge win for us, knowing someone with his startup pedigree and business acumen, and what the fundraising experience was vital for where we were going as a company. And another huge win for us was a gentleman by the name of Chad Ruff. No relation. We just both have really cool last names, but
Wait.
brought him on.
Your last names are spelled the same way and there's no relationship?
No relationship. Trust me. You look at our pictures. We're not related.
that is a weird coincidence.
I know. But we got Chad on board. Chad is the former founder of a company by the name of Sales Fusion, which has done really well here in the Atlanta technology scene, and was able to convince him to come on board. He was actually an EIR, entrepreneur in residence, here at ATDC as well, and recruited him and got him to come on as our CTO. And just with, he also had an LBS background, location-based services. So when it came to our mapping and geofencing and routing, he was really strong there. And man, when I tell you this guy's like a machine, sometimes you got to check his pulse to make sure he's even human, but he's really kicking butt from a technology.
What have been the biggest challenges? I mean, from a technology standpoint, how long did it take you guys to build out the platform before it was ready to start selling to clients?
Yeah, so one of the unique things we were able to do in the industry, because we looked at other, Uber for transportation, Uber for trucking companies, and kind of noticed where they failed at. We took, a more traditional approach into the industry. And what we did first was we took 5 off-the-shelf technologies and we integrated them together and built like this Frankenstein. And the Frankenstein was able to get us to market. And after raising funds, we were able to start replacing Frankenstein piece by piece. So now we've got more proprietary built software in house now, which couples are where we utilize our predictive analytics and big data and our machine learning. So we were lucky there being in this industry and knowing where others have failed at, knowing that hey, we could take, the barrier of least resistance was through our Frankenstein and slowly start to build up from there after we're building a stronger customer base. So that's kind of one of the things we've been really advantageous to us as a company.
And what are the pieces of the platform? I mean, I assume there's something that's web-based. There's probably some sort of a database. There's, I don't know, there's API calls, there's mobile apps. Like, how much did you guys have to build?
Oh yeah, absolutely. You've actually hit it all on the head there. We've got APIs into different off-the-shelf technologies where we're pulling in weather data, different pricing information from different sources, and we built our own pricing calculator. We've got this really cool customized CRM which holds customer data and carrier information that keeps up with vacation schedules and where our truckers like to go and all that information there. So all that, being able to build that up, we got that done in about a quarter, believe it or not. But we're still adding on the regular now. Right now, we're utilizing a little bit of the machine learning, but it's not completely built out right now. But we're working with the Georgia Tech Supply Chain and Logistics Department to shore up that piece. But got some really exciting things on the horizon now, and we're waiting now for our mobile app to get approval through the App Store. So
Okay.
we're feeling really good about where we're at as a company, and we're strategically, deploying our funds in a smart way and making sure that we get the most bang for our buck.
Is that, are you guys starting with iOS or with Android or both at the same time?
Both at the same time.
Okay. Um, in terms of sales, right? How many? So you've 11-person team. How many people on the team are responsible for sales?
Oh, wow. So right now we only have 3 people that are allocated towards sales right now.
Okay, and that's the outbound sales mostly.
Yeah, yeah, that's outside sales majority. Our focus has been to work with the Fortune 1000 companies. Right now, those are the ones that have the strong diversity initiatives. So that's kind of been, our go-to-market strategy and who's been really receptive to who we are as a company.
Right.
And then there's a few lower tier customers that we've been speaking with as well that's been really excited about what we're doing, even though they have no supply diversity initiatives. But what we're doing from a technology standpoint and helping them run their operations more efficiently has been really exciting for them.
When you say, okay, so Fortune 1000, for anyone listening, that's just essentially the 1000 largest companies, right?
Correct.
Public, probably public or private. They don't necessarily have to be traded in the New York Stock Exchange. I guess they could be privately owned, even though although most large companies on that size are publicly traded. Um, are you going mostly after? I mean, you're going after companies that have complicated logistics, right? So probably distribution centers, a lot of shipping and whatnot.
Yes, that's correct. Because you got to think the logistics industry with transportation, anything we touch, we see, we eat has to come on a truck.
Yeah.
So those could all be potential clients for us. But just to kind of home in to who we are and our go-to-market strategy has been those larger tier customers.
Okay. Who are some of the ones? Are you able to mention some of the companies that you guys are currently talking to right now, or hoping to get in front of in the near future?
Yeah, our main goal has definitely been to conquer home because, of course, we've got the likes of Coca-Cola, we've got Home Depot, West Rock, companies like that, and we want to get those. We want to
Now,
bring
when you say home, you mean companies based in Georgia, right?
exactly
Okay.
because we're right here in the state of Georgia in Atlanta, and then of course we've got the Savannah port, a little bit down south. So we want to get the state of Georgia behind us and get the city behind us, and we feel that we could do large numbers just right here at home, kind of starting off.
Oh, for sure. Is it? I mean, Home Depot, right? You mentioned them. They're down there, aren't they?
Absolutely, right
I
around the
mean,
corner.
that's probably one of the biggest logistics companies in the world, I would think.
Yeah, Home Depot. Then you've got UPS here, where that could be a
Wow.
partnership. So yeah, it's a lot we could get done right here in the state of Georgia. So it's really exciting, and being a part here of ATDC helps us get in front of a lot of those corporations really quickly and easy.
Now, I think we get connected through someone in Charleston, South Carolina.
Yeah, so Jared with Minato, so he's actually here at ATDC now, and
Okay.
that's how we met each other. So he came into the incubator, and we've stayed really close. And he told me about the podcast and said that I know he had to reschedule, and he was like, "Hey, I think you'll be a
Oh
great."
yeah, right, right. Okay. Yeah, I never remember exactly how I'm always getting connected to people, but it's
Yeah,
usually everyone's got their own network, and it's nice to be able to plug into that once in a while and find new guests.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
in terms of fundraising, like I said, you guys have raised 1.1 million. When did that happen? Like, did that accelerator have a demo day? Did they do that kind of thing, or do they just you learn, you go with the accelerator, and then you're on your own to raise capital?
No, they do have an ATDC showcase, but the thing here about ATDC is that in our building, I mean, there's maybe what 10 different VC funds right here in the building. So you can go
Wow.
up 2 floors and get in front of the right people who can potentially change the lives of your company. So we being able to raise funds and being a part of ATDC, I mean, it was awesome for us. We really didn't even have to leave the building to raise our money.
What have you been? I mean, did you talk to any VCs outside of that area? I mean, did you talk to any from the Valley or New York or Boston?
We had some soft conversations just in regards to bring awareness, just some of the connections, but all those connections were made from right here at ATDC. Like, hey, take a look at this company and have a conversation. So we didn't speak to, and then I think we may have spoke with one company out in the Valley, maybe 2 up in New York. So not a
Okay.
whole lot. We kind of focused our efforts here in Georgia.
You can't really compare the perspectives, I guess, of a southeastern VC firm versus a Valley VC firm.
No, no, not as of yet. I think it's gonna the time is coming though, and then I hear the experiences from some of my fellow, CEOs. But yeah, from what I hear though, Georgia is a little more conservative.
Yeah.
but because we're a real estate town, of course, but it's been a great experience for us. I tell you, it's been awesome.
I remember my buddy in Dallas telling me the same thing when he went out to go raise capital 5 or 6 years ago for his startup. The whole Texas area, everyone, the wealthier individuals all made their money either in energy or real estate. And it was very hard to get them to start to buy into technology.
Yeah, because we don't have the returns as quick. Our return comes a little later on down the road, but they're starting here in Georgia. At least I could say they're starting to kind of change that thinking, and the VC funds and the angels they're kind of leading the way are really well. They're paving the way to bring awareness to those other wealthy individuals that hey, let's get behind the startup scene. So it's been great.
So, I mean, you've done a few startups before. You've had some success, you've had an exit. What is your favorite thing about being an entrepreneur, and what do you think are two or three of the traits that a good entrepreneur must possess?
I think the most exciting part that I enjoy is the building phase, the building and recruiting. When you're talking to someone and they're going to bring great value to the company, and you tell them about your vision and where you believe the company could be in the next 2 to 3 years, and convincing them to come on board and take this journey is I think is the most exciting thing. I mean, that's what I truly love to do because I'm passionate about Sudu and the company and where we're headed, and being able to help these diverse truckers and all truckers out there in the industry. So just telling that story and how we could really, make a difference is exciting to me. And then in regards to traits, I think number one, you got to have like no fear. You can't be afraid to be told no. And if you feel that your idea is pretty good, I say you just gotta just react and do it. One of the things I always say is I jump out of an airplane and then I build my parachute on the way down. You gotta be able to take that risk. I really believe that. Another thing is you need to know what you don't know. Like I said earlier, if you know that your strengths are set, but you're really not that good in, from a technical standpoint or, operations or, bookkeeping and finances, be honest with yourself and find those individuals that are really strong there, and you'll be a lot more successful. And then number three, I would say the last trait to have is I believe you got to just be tenacious. You just gotta continue to keep grinding and know that it's not going to be an overnight success, but it's going to be a process. I think those are the three traits I would say.
Right. I interviewed a guy, Andrew Weinrich, last week, and he had some great advice, which is similar to that. Was you have to be proficient in all areas of the business, but you have to be able to hire someone better than you in each area of the business. Like you have to be able to talk marketing, talk technology, all that stuff, so you can have like legitimate conversations and talk strategy. But at the end of the day, you need to hire someone that's better at marketing and better at finance and better at engineering. So I think
Absolutely.
you guys both dead on right there. Um, so you do enjoy recruiting?
Oh yeah, I love it. I think that might be my
Is
most
it
favorite
because you're
thing.
competitive? Is it like that competitive, mindset? Like I'm going to get this guy, and I'm going to beat out Google. I'm going to beat out whoever else is we're trying to recruit him.
I think so. I think that might be it. I'm a big sports fan, and I just like to win. I'm in my meetings all the time, like, hey guys, we got to get the championship, and the championship is to sell, the business or have that large exit. So when I'm recruiting new team members, I'll say, hey, I know we've got two all-star receivers right now, but hey, we can get this guy in and play the slot, and hey, that's gonna just open us up for the deep ball. Like I speak sports analogies all the time in a meeting. So
I
hey,
do the
coach,
same thing. So I'm a diehard sports fan too, and I think you're right. I think sports fans are very competitive people by nature. So lastly, let's talk about some of the numbers. You mentioned some in the pre-call to me, and I'm always appreciative when a founder is willing to share some of that stuff with us. So, just in terms of if you want to talk MRRs or ARRs or growth rates or projected revenues or any of that stuff, what can you tell us about the financial health and growth of your business?
yeah, I know. I know from a financial standpoint, we're growing and we're growing fast, but at a controlled pace. We've got MRRs that are right around that $100,000 range, and we're doing great. And we're expecting to finish off this year, definitely well within, potentially the eight digits, possibly. So I mean, it's a lot of fun. We've got customers that really believe in who we are as a company, and they're giving us the beach entry, if you know what I mean. Of course, these corporations that we're working with, I mean, a couple $1 million is a drop in the bucket, but
Right, right.
they give us the entry to the water from the beach side. So we get our feet wet, we understand the processes, we understand the compliances, and we kind of work out all the bugs, and then we crawl before we walk, then we walk before we run. So we feel that we've got some great opportunity here and some great business partners.
So last question here before we wrap up. This one just kind of came to mind, and I think it's something that entrepreneurs or founders of startups probably deal with is the reluctantness of large corporations like a Walmart doing business with a young startup. Has that been a hurdle for you guys? And then how do you overcome that? Because I mean, you can't run and hide from it. I mean, it is what it is. You're a young company. You've got $1 million in funding, but like you said, I mean, Walmart's a $300 billion company.
Absolutely, and I think a lot of it plays to the team. I always say we may be a newer company, but we're not new to the industry. We have industry vets that are housed with us that are under the Sudu umbrella, that are helping guide us in the right direction, and our solutions that we're bringing to the table are real, and the problems that we're solving are real problems. So there's not really a lot of risks from working with Sudo in regards to what we're doing. So yeah, we've seen a little bit of hesitation from some corporations, but other ones have really embraced us and wanting to help and support the startup community, because it doesn't hurt to let us move a couple loads a week. It's not going to hurt anything. Let us let us move a couple. We show you how efficient we are, and then we can grow from there. We're not telling you to give us 30% of your business starting off. We can start off slow and show you what we can do and grow from there. And I think that's what's really helped open the door to working with the larger corporations.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, man, for being a guest today. Really appreciate it. You shared all kinds of great stuff for us. What's the best way that we can learn more about your company? I think I forgot to mention the website in the intro. It's sudu.io, correct?
Yes, sudu.io. That's sudu.io.
Okay, cool. And in terms of like social media, does the company use any? Do you use any personally?
Yeah, absolutely. Reach out to me on LinkedIn. Definitely active on LinkedIn. That's Amari Ruff. You can find us at on Twitter as well. That's Team Sudu. That's at Team Sudu on Twitter, and I'm on Twitter as well, and that's at I believe Professor Ruff. You can find me at Professor Ruff on
Cool.
Twitter.
Were you a professor at one point?
No, I just like to say that I think.
You're a professor of trucking and logistics.
There you go. That
Hey,
works.
someday you could be teaching at Stanford, like logistics course. Who knows?
Never know. Never know.
Well, thanks so much, man. Really appreciate your time today, Amari, and certainly wish you guys the best. And feel free to come back anytime and give us some updates.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. It's been a complete pleasure. Thank
You
you.
got it, man. Talk to you soon.
All
Bye.
right. See ya. Bye.